MPC's resolution, which will be uploaded immediately after this statement is over. So I would encourage everyone to have a look at the resolution of the MPC, which contains even greater details. Living with the pandemic has improved the way we manage it. Working from home, virtual meetings, and contactless transactions. Throughout this traumatic period, one thing has stood out: the indomitable spirit of humanity. The inner conviction that whatever be the challenge, we have the innate resilience to combat them, overcome them, and emerge victorious. I continue to be an eternal optimist, and I feel Mahatma Gandhi should inspire us. And in Mahatma Gandhi's words, if our resolve is firm and our conviction clear, it would mean half the battle won, unquote. Let me now highlight, against this backdrop, I would like to highlight the impact of the monetary and liquidity measures so far taken by the Reserve Bank to mitigate the negative fallout of COVID-19. I thought it necessary to point out some of these aspects which are known, which are obviously available in the public domain, but I often hear questions being raised in the public space about the effectiveness of the rate cuts that the MPC has undertaken over the past, starting from February 19 and more in a more pronounced manner after the onset of the pandemic. So I thought it is necessary that let me in brief highlight some of the the impact in our assessment, the impact of the monetary and liquidity policy measures which have been undertaken by the Reserve Bank. It may be noted that transmission of the rate cuts by MPC would not have been possible to the extent achieved so far without creating comfortable liquidity conditions. The overriding objective was to prevent financial markets from freezing up, ensure normal functioning of financial intermediaries, ease the stress faced by households and businesses, and keep the lifeblood of finance flowing. This is achieved by infusing large amounts of liquidity in and out of the system through injections and absorptions through the LAF. In the process, the easing of financial conditions has actually enhanced monetary transmission and thereby the effectiveness of MPC's accommodative stance and actions. What is more, the injections of liquidity, including through open market operations, special operations for what we call the open market operations, then special operations by way of what we call Operation Twist, the LTROs, the TLTROs, and the forex interventions. There being that, and this is very important to note, all this liquidity which are being injected into the market and which is there in the system, they are being fully sterilized by absorptions through the reverse repo, while preventing a seizure of money markets under extreme risk aversion and uncertainty. And this is a very important point which I think I feel and all of us in RBI feel needs to be appreciated. Another aspect that needs to be recognized is that RBI's open market purchases are aimed at reducing funding costs for private sector entities that issue instruments in the market which are usually priced off the GSEC yield as the benchmark. In fact, it is worthwhile to see who is benefiting from the RBI's actions. Borrowing costs in financial markets have dropped to their lowest in a decade on the back of abundant liquidity. Interest rates on instruments like the 3-month treasury bill, commercial paper, and certificates of deposit have fully priced in the reduction in the policy rate and are in fact trading below the policy rate in the secondary market. Commercial papers of NBFCs have softened to 3.8% on July 31st. Rates have fallen to 3.4% on July 31st, 2020 for non-NBFC borrowers. So as you can see, the cost of borrowing for NBFC borrowers and non-NBFC borrowers have significantly come down. And the NBFC sector, which was in stress post ILFS throughout, in the early part of 2019, have now access to funding at reasonable costs. With illiquidity premia dissipating under the impact of Operation Twist and TLTRO1 spreads of 3-year AAA rated corporate bonds over similar tenor securities have also declined from 260 to 76 basis points on March 26th to 50 basis points. So on March 26th, that is on March 27th, if you remember, we announced our first set of measures to deal with the onset of the pandemic, to deal with the COVID crisis. And that was on March 27th. So March 26th, the spread on AAA rated corporate bonds, and I am referring to the 3-year AAA rated corporate bonds, it was 276 basis points over the GSEC of similar maturity, and that spread over GSEC of similar maturity has come down from 276 basis points from March 26th to 50 basis points on July 31st, a significant reduction indeed. And in fact, in all other categories, AA, whether it is AA plus or AA bonds, they have also considerably narrowed. Even the lowest investment grade bonds, that is BBB minus, spreads have also come down by 125 basis points as on July 31st. Lower borrowing costs have led to record primary issuance of corporate bonds of the order of rupees 2.09 lakh crore in the first quarter, that is April to June 2020-21. In particular, market financing conditions for NBFCs, which had become challenging, have largely stabilized in the wake of targeted policy measures undertaken by the Reserve Bank. Abundant liquidity has also supported other segments of financial markets. In particular, mutual funds have stabilized since the Franklin Templeton episode. Assets under the management of debt mutual funds have also recovered and significantly improved to 13.89 lakh crore as on July 31st, 2020. Monetary transmission has also improved considerably. The weighted average lending rate on fresh rupee loans sanctioned by banks declined by 162 basis points during the period February 2019 to June 2020. I am referring to February 2019 because that is when the accommodative stance of Reserve Bank's policy, monetary policy, and the liquidity injections, the whole cycle, and the accommodative stance and the rate cut cycle, it began in 2019. So between February 2019 to June 2020, the weighted average lending rate on fresh rupee loans sanctioned by banks, they have come down by 162 basis points. Now, of which 91 basis points transmission was witnessed during the month of March 2020 to June 2020. That is from March to June in the post-pandemic period. Now, let me now turn to announcing some additional measures. With COVID-19 infections rising unabated under fragile macroeconomic and financial conditions, we propose to undertake additional developmental and regulatory measures with several objectives, and they are as follows. Number one, to enhance liquidity support for financial markets and other stakeholders. Number two, to further ease financial stress caused by COVID-19 disruptions while strengthening credit discipline. Number three, to improve the flow of credit. Number four, to deepen digital payment systems. Number five, augment customer safety in check payments. And number six, facilitate innovations across the financial sector by leveraging on technology. These are the objectives behind the policy measures which we are going to announce, which I am going to announce today on behalf of the Reserve Bank. In the worst peacetime health and economic crisis of the last 100 years that we faced, today on behalf of the Reserve Bank. In the worst peacetime health and economic crisis of the last 100 years that we face today, the regulatory response has to be dynamic, proactive, and balanced. While designing the major announcements that I am making today, we have ensured that necessary safeguards